sana nagsama-sama more itong mga like-minded candidates if Heidi Mendoza had more logistical mobilization support kasi ang taas ng conversion rate niya from awareness to preference. Maybe Heidi could have made it. I mean, Mark Oleta number 6. That was like shocking. If Mark Oleta could make it, I think Heidi could make it too, di ba? Considering Bam was number 2, Kiko was number 5. So yes, we can blame surveys and Ronald Llamas, but sana, di ba, we took more chances with more candidates kasi numbers game to eh. I mean, it's great that Bam is 2 and Kiko is 5, but they're just 2 votes. Eh di sana tatlong vote. Sabi nga, sana si Trillanes hindi na lang tumakbong Caloocan, nag-senador na lang siya. But that's a long conversation. I think he did something valiant and I appreciate for him. Ikaw, Justice, what is your read of it? Was this a big surprise victory? Was this a mixed picture? Was this like a good victory that we still have to build on? What is your read?
Well, it was a very pleasant surprise for me na mataas si Bam because and Kiko, no, because all the surveys show that they were just below the 12 slot, or si Bam was fighting for the 12 slot with 4 or 6 others. So yung pala ang taas niya, no, and also Kiko. So I think there's something wrong with the polling. That's one. Second, the significance of this is buhay pa ang opposition. The real opposition is still alive. And I think this augurs well for 2028. No? We're very hopeful that in 2028 there will be more votes for the real opposition. Maglalaban yung dalawang political dynasties, and I think in 2028 the center, the moderates, those who are against political dynasties uh, might might win, no? And so I think in
Right.
2028 there will be more people like Bam and Kiko will run, having seen how successful the two were, no, in this last election. So I think it gives hope to the real opposition to prepare for 2028.
Baka Justice, pwede ka na sumama with Heidi sa next.
Mhm.
Baka pati si Ronald, isama na natin, go na tayo. But,
Well, I was telling Heidi
yeah, yeah,
that
yes.
na si Risa, it took her 3 runs to make it. I think she ran 3 times to finally make it. I think
And she had the
Heidi will
backing
fare
pa.
better.
And she had the backing pa. I think Heidi had even more limited
Yes.
resources and
So I
material than
think
Risa. Yeah.
Heidi, if she runs again, she'll finally make it, no? Because she has that awareness already and very high conversion rate, no?
Exactly, which is very good news, and we can we'll build on from there. Justice, as a legal expert, what do you think is the significance of Chel Jokno and Senator De Lima, joining the prosecution team of the Congress, which is exactly what we were pushing for, right? Sabi ko nga dapat manalo ang akbayan at saka mga liberal dahil you want Chel and to and De Lima to be there, and then as suddenly, for all we know, dalawa rin natalo dun sa original team. So exactly yun ang nangyari. Parang the stars aligned. How important is to have Chel Jokno there? Because Chel Jokno was very confident na, yes, numbers game to. And let's be honest, right? If you're Duterte side, you feel good about your chances. In fact, you feel so good na baka hindi pa nga trial mangyari. As Sara said, let's have a bloodbath because you have Bongo, you have Bato, you have Robin Hood. You have Marcoleta. I think these four are going to be strongly, at least, or expected, at least tatlo dyan, expected strongly to go for Sara. And then there's Aimee, there's the curious case of Camille, and then probably half a dozen other senators who are, not in a mood to pick a fight with Duterte because they have their own ambitions and their own seats to protect. So it looks like the DDS side is very confident. But Chel Jokno is also very confident. Is it because he feels that once lumabas yung mga baho or alleged allegations, the public sentiment will pressure the other senators to be honest about this? And that Sara may have 4 or 5 people behind her, but eventually vast majority of senators will be forced to reckon with the facts of the case.
Yes. I think because the impeachment court will have the power to subpoena the bank accounts now for Duterte and the children, because the bank account of Duterte was joint with the children. So if what Trillanes has been saying is true, that will really turn the tide, I think. I mean, even the senators who are uh, in favor of Sara will have to recalibrate, because when the evidence is there, they have a responsibility to the Filipino people. No, pag tatanungin sila bakit ganyan, na kitang-kita ayaw mo pa rin. And even assuming if she will be acquitted, but with that kind of evidence, she will be damaged good for 2028.
which creates new interesting possibilities. Because if you're Bongo, you got 27 million votes, right? And you felt you had your opening in 20. I mean, you're from Davao, you know this better than me, Justice, right? I mean, if you're Bongo right now, I won't blame you if you're saying maybe I should run for the president, right? So even if Sara survives this, she might not be the most viable heir apparent, right?
Yeah, well, Bongo might, because she's number one. That's if you are number one in the Senate, then you are a possible you're a presidential already.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So that dynamic is an interesting dynamic that maybe Bongo will
Mm.
say, okay, yeah, Sarah did not get impeached, but maybe this is my. I remember kasi kasabay ko siya dun sa TV5 interview after he won, and he was saying something like, parang malaking factor na hindi siya tumakbo nung 2022 because Duterte had 90% approval, he was the preferred ganon. Well, he didn't really answer the question, but I think you could read in between the lines na basically sinabi niya na I did sit that one out for the purpose of unity of the House of Duterte, right? Oh, but now with him number one and doing so well, I mean, I won't be surprised. I mean, he has a good case to make. Now he's the heir apparent, or he should be the heir apparent, right?
Yeah, well, that will enter his mind, of course. And if Sarah is acquitted but crippled, then the more reason he would be running.
Exactly. And I think this is what people don't say. I've seen a lot of, yung mga biglang mga abogado naging expert bigla sa politics na sabi, tapos ng laban kasi numbers game to, ganun sabi ko. These people don't understand. May mga senador dyan na may conviction, right?
Mhm.
May mga senador dyan na may pamilyang businesses, may family businesses na questionable, right? So, I mean, let's be honest. Many arms could be twisted to create the numbers because many of people there inside Senate have skeletons in the closet. I mean, people don't understand how politics works, right? But then again, it depends on Marcos and people if they're willing to push the envelope, meaning to make sure some of the senators are honest and not just factotum. Having said that, Justice Carpio, how do you read the path ahead? Because, you know, technically speaking, the leader of the opposition is Riza Ontiveros, and she was almost 100% successful, right? Her Akbayan party has had the best ever result ever, right? Number one. Duterte Youth just got disqualified, so even more interesting for Akbayan. Akbayan was even top 10 in Davao. Interesting. And then the nanalong ML, at least Leila de Lima, nanalo si Pam and Kiko in big time. But at the same time, Bam also is now suddenly being discussed as a potential presidential ball or vice presidential ball along with Lenny Robredo, another big winner. Now, obviously, they're all part of genuine opposition. All are sincere and good people. Ang my observation though is I think they may not have necessarily the same reading of what is the message here, right? Because if I'm Rizon Tiveros, I'll say, okay, this shows that obviously you cannot be a purist ideologue, but you have to have conviction politics, push for a more social democratic progressive way forward. I mean, Riza won in 2016 and 2022 against all odds. So in short, must center left si Riza eh. But if you're Bam, for instance, or even Kiko to a certain degree, you would say maybe not. Maybe what we need is much more center than center left. Because if you look at Bam, the reason he did very well is because, let's be honest, he didn't touch on the ICC issue that much. If at all, on the issue of Sara impeachment, we saw how he He was more lawyerly than even you lawyers. So, Justice Carpio, lang, ang ganda nung ano niya, yung ganda nung non-answer niya, di ba? Um, and even West Philippine Sea, right? No one really took up the cudgels. So that's a very different approach than, let's say, the Riza Ontiveros approach. Because if you look at Riza Ontiveros, and even in 2022, forget about 2016, she was very consistent on EJK, human rights, West Philippine Sea issue, and still won. Not as big as BAM. So doesn't that raise questions of maybe there will be different understanding of how the opposition should move forward, and that suddenly now maybe Bam should be seen as the leader of the opposition, or Lenny and Bam together, that tandem rather than Risa. Do you get what I'm saying, Justice? Maybe sasabihin na naman nag-iintriga si Richard. Pero ako, I always look at 4 steps ahead, diba? And I'm very aware of these gradations. How do you think we can harmonize that? How do you think that should be harmonized? Do we need a new sambayan, one sambayan, mechanisms to bring things together? And do you think in the next Senate race, dapat 12 na, hindi lang dalawa or tatlo, di ba? Na talagang full in na yung opposition for 2028.
Yeah, I think on that last issue, I think the we have to fill the full Senate slate now, if because it's a presidential election, and well, Risa has been very consistent. She's been very clear in her position on the West Philippine Sea, on the Pogo, on other things. Uh, Bam has not articulated it that clearly or precisely, but he has to do that soon because West Philippine Sea is here. It's not going to go away. It will remain in the consciousness of the people, and he has to uh, he has to articulate his position. Huh? So, but it's too. We'll have to wait too early to say that uh, we have to choose now one over the other. No? So we'll just have
Or
to.
find a kind of a common position, right?
Yeah.
Kasi Bam, very, very successful yung kanyang strategy, di ba? Parang, let's not get into contentious issues. Focus tayo dun sa gut issues, education, youth. Boom, it worked very well for him. But Risa could also make an argument, well, I mean, I also succeeded even if I raised those issues, key issues during my time, even tougher times. 2022 was way tougher than 2025. And Risa also position is could be like hindi natin maiwasan. We have to talk about ICC soon. I mean, baka Bato gets a warrant of arrest tomorrow, right? We have to talk about other issues soon. So you have to find some sort of harmonization of that, right? By the way, Justice, kamustang ICC? Let's go to the international final part of our discussion. Is the Karim Khan situation gonna be debilitating? Kasi sabi ng mga DDS, international law experts. Ito ulit yung Davao School of International Law, no? Uh, yung sabi nila, ito yung Duterte effect na naganyan si Karim Khan when last time I checked, it's the effect of Trump trying to protect Netanyahu and sanctioning ICC, and next thing you know, Karim Khan is facing internal probe for allegations of abuse, but at the same time, he cannot use his email. Accounts are being frozen. Even American folks working in the ICC could face arrest back home. What is your read of that? Will ICC survive, or how should it survive? And that does that mean na uwi na si Tatay Digong, or work from Hague? Work from Hague si Tatay Digong.
Well, I think the personal problem of Karim of Khan will not affect the case. I mean, there are other prosecutors there who are equally competent. So that's a completely separate case.
And in terms of the functioning of the ICC, US sanctions and all, do you think that Europe can still continue to undergird the ICC? I was in Hungary just the other day, and they withdrew from the ICC because of their support for for the Israeli leaders and all of that. But it looks like the vast majority of the European, at least major countries, are still behind ICC.
Yeah, I think the Europeans, since that is really their project, will be behind the ICC. I don't think they will abandon it.
So in short, tuloy ang work from Hague ni Digong, Justice Carpio. Okay. Like, what did your kababayans in Davao vote for? Kasi may bato na, so may ano daw, cardboard. Kasi ano pang binoto nila kasi Digong is not coming home.
Well, it will be Baste who will be acting mayor. Uh,
Si Omar ba yung akyat?
while
Yung isa,
yeah, while Digong is there in The Hague.
work from Hague. Ba- Sabi ko sa inyo, yan ang bagong work from Hague. Talagang sarap buhay. Lastly, Justice, we were talking about China a while ago and the West Philippine Sea issue. Um, Before elections, we saw a couple of big arrests, no, of alleged Chinese citizens or Chinese Filipino individuals allegedly involved in espionage activities. NBI, some of the top officials openly talking about interference, sharp power operations. General Bronner also last month said that dapat ingat tayo because ini-infiltrate na yung institutions natin. What is your read of this? How serious is this threat? And without naming names, do you think that China may have played a role in some candidates doing very, very well in this election cycle?
Well, you just have to assume because remember what Facebook did in 2022. Facebook delisted the accounts of Chinese trolls based in China who were uh, using fake, fictitious names and spreading disinformation in the Philippines. No? So you just have to assume that they continue that and because you can see them these posts that are pro-China and pro-Duterte. No, it's still there. I think that's why I think if you recall the SIM registration law included a provision which I recommended to the Senate that all those who use the platform of internet service providers must disclose the real name and address to the platform owner so that if somebody will complain because he was libeled, he can sue that person. He will just ask for the real name and address. No? And former President Duterte vetoed the entire bill because of that provision. So that otherwise his trolls will be killed. So right now the trolls can still operate because there's no uh, the service providers are not required to get the real name, and the service providers are just too happy if there are fictitious users because it generates traffic. They can charge more their advertisers. So, but I think it's bad for society that this information is repeatedly circulated by these internet service providers. I mean, that should not be the policy of the law. So I hope the current administration will reenact that law, standalone law now, no? So that at least we will know saan ba galing ito. Eh, mga pangalan nila, Boy Bukol. I was
Parang
thrilled when
himang ko.
I was thrilled when I was a columnist of Inquirer. Boy Bukol would keep on attacking
Ay,
me.
kilala ko yan. Ano yan? Regular din sa ano ko yan.
So, but we all know that these are trolls. They're fictitious names. And why do we allow that? I mean, uh, the public should not allow that. I mean, they should protest that. I mean, uh, they are poisoning the discussion within the community.
I mean, we have a lot of friends and OFWs from different countries, Denmark, among others, saying kung may magta-troll-troll ka sa mga ibang bansa na matino-tino, yari ka kagad, hahanapin ka eh. Um, you know, uh, just as I was actually analyzing it the other day and I was looking at ang bilis nung nag-consolidate ng support behind Bato and some of these candidates, not only in Mindanao but across the country. And then I was thinking about it kasi nag-Cali survey din ako, eh, di ba? Like talking to folks in across NCR and all. 'Di ba algorithm based ang mga social media platforms. So you had 6 years of Duterte just flooding millions of our kababayan with disinformation. And then you had 2 years of Uniteam before it fell apart. So imagine you had 8 years to create rabbit holes, basically, di ba? So kaya kumbaga may captive audience ka na ngayon eh. So every time maglabas ng kung ano-anong disinformation ng mga DDS, immediately papasok na yan sa mga circles na yan eh. You know how do I know that? For instance, meron tayong mga pinsan. na ayaw na kay Duterte pero bumoto kay Duterte noong 2016. Pero dahil nandun na sila sa Duterte era, yung kanilang Facebook and all automatically recommends to them anything that comes out of the Duterte camp. So, sabi niya, pinsan, balita ko dyan sa Philippines, ang dami na naman ng krimen and all. Sabi ko, saan mo kinukuha yan? Dito sa social media. So, ayan ka na naman, DDS ka na naman, akala ko tapos ka na. Tapos sabi niya, oo nga, no. So, actually, na-realize ko, there are many people who are stuck still in that rabbit hole of DDS disinformation. Dahil 8 years yun eh. It's a decade-old machine of disinformation. So, kailangan mo talagang ano yan eh, reverse engineer yan or kalkalin yan, no?
Yeah, the solution is simple. Require the internet service provider to get the real name and address. And because if you are anonymous, you're not worried of being sued for libel. You just keep on attacking, and there's no retribution. You will not be penalized. You will not be charged because they don't know you. You don't reveal your real identity.
And again, Justice Carr, just to remind people, we are progressive liberals who are concerned about privacy rights and civil liberties. How do we make sure those things are not affected? How do we strike a balance?
Well, like for example, in newspapers, in print media, when you write a letter to the editor, you have to reveal your real name and your address. Ganyan din dapat sa internet. I mean, uh, it's just fair that when you write uh, and attack somebody, not you should not hide behind an anonymous name, no? Because that's not being fair. So it's just fairness. Wala namang ano eh. There's uh, the, it's natural. I mean, you shouldn't be allowed to hide your name when you attack somebody. Kawawa naman yung tao. Sino nga atakihin niya? How will he defend himself?
Right.
So yung si Boy Bukol, binabanatan tayo palagi. We don't even bother anymore. Pero he keeps on writing, no?
Yeah. Si Boy Bocol, kailangan, siguro mataas ang sahod niya. Mas mataas siguro ang sahod niya kaysa sa atin, Justice, kasi mas marami siyang pinopost yun sa site kaysa sa atin. Buti nga, Boy Bocol lang sa inyo. May Boko Boy, may Miggy Mango Boy. Ang dami kong nakita, may
Ang
Dumdum
dami
Boy.
nila. Ang dami. Ang dami talaga nila. Malaman mo lang because of their
Anonymity. Yeah.
byline, yung handle nila. Tsaka the way they speaking the right English, mukhang baluktot konti, no?
Yeah. Ayan na, Justice, baka ma-cancel tayo. But on that note, Justice Carpio, thank you so much for sharing your time. Maraming salamat. Is there anything you want to add, Justice Carpio, before we wrap up this, I would say, generally entertaining and informative discussion? You seem happy, Justice. I think we should be happy, no? Pleasantly
Well,
surprised tayo.
you just have to be happy. There's no, you will age faster if you are look sad.
I was hoping more like happy, not because happy lang, because siguro medyo nag-pleasant surprise naman yung politika natin. But we have a lot of work on our lap, right? Ang dami natin kailangan gawin. Ang dami na kailangan gawin nung mga nakapasok na progressives, di ba? Ang hirap nun. This is gonna be a tough position, but thanks to people like you, Justice Scorpio, and our good supporters from all around the world, maraming na-inspire, maraming nag-inspire, and sana tuloy-tuloy lang energy niyan. Thank you so much, Justice Carpio, for joining us, and hope to see you soon after your much-deserved rest. Di na ako magbigay ng details.
Thank you,
Baka hanapin
Richard.
ka ni
Thank you
Harry
to our
Roque.
viewers.
Baka
Thank
mag-abutan
you.
ka ni Harry Roque. Salamat, Justice. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you po.